Hi all, welcome to cmavamsisai official channel. Today I am going to give the introduction about CMA final paper 13, that is corporate and economic class. So going forward, this material is from the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and so this is the introduction. So this is the index of the subject. It is a paper, law paper is divided into two sections, that is section A and section B. Section A covers 60% and section B covers 40%. The topics in section A corporate laws are the Companies Act 2013 40%, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 10%, Corporate Governance and Social Responsibility and Sustainability 10%. Student who covers all these three topics have a chance to gain 60% of the marks. And section B, economic laws and regulations, it covers the topics like SEBI regulations 10%, Companies Act 2002 5%, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 5%, laws and regulations related to banking sector, laws and regulations related to insurance sector 5%, specific legal provisions related to MSME sector 5%, laws and regulations related to cyber security and data privacy 5%, laws and regulations related to anti-money laundering 5%. Student who learns all act parts of section B will cover 40% of marks. And coming, the learning environment paper 13, subject title is corporate and economic class, code CEL. This is paper number 13, course description. What is the description of this law course? The subject offers a detailed coverage of whole Companies Act right from the inception to winding up. Means from the beginning, from how to start the company and how to end the company. All these details will be given in this paper. It also includes various other laws directly relating to business, other than tax and labor laws. The laws relating to competition, foreign exchange, banking and insurance, etc., have been considered in fair amount in detail. So, except laws and taxation laws and labor laws, this book is also gives the information about competition, foreign exchange, banking and insurance, etc. The insolvency and bankruptcy law, which is a paramount of importance given the present NPA problem in Indian banking sector, also features in the course. Regulations relating to corporate governance, sustainability, and CSR have also found a place. So, this book also covers the insolvency bankruptcy code and also corporate social responsibility, etc. Thus, this course is a comprehensive compilation of all corporate as well as economic legislations which a professional accountant is expected to be aware of. So, what a professional accountant must gain the knowledge, that all the details regarding the knowledge is given in this book. Next, CMA course learning objectives. What are the objectives behind learning this subject? Every student must understand the objectives before learning that particular subject. So coming to this last subject, what are the objectives? We'll have a look. First one, interpret and appreciate emerging national and global concerns affecting organizations and be in a state of readiness for business management. So you should, one student should, or one after becoming a professional, you should be ready for management, business management, like identify emerging national and global forces responsible for enhanced or various business challenges, assess how far these forces pose threats to the status quo and creating new opportunities, find out the ways and means to convert the challenges into opportunities. So when we are working for a company, we are in a position to understand the situations that are facing by the company, what are the threats the company is going to face, how to bring the company from the threats, and if the company facing the more number of threats, how to convert the risks into opportunities. We should gain the knowledge in order to do all this. Acquire, number 2 point, acquire skill sets for critical thinking, analysis and evaluations, comprehension, synthesis, and applications for optimization of sustainable goals. So we should acquire the skills in order to make critical analysis and also critical thinking. We should build that mindset. Okay. Point A, be equipped with the appropriate tools for analysis of business risks and hurdles. Learn to apply tools and systems for evaluation of decision alternatives with a 360-degree approach. Develop solutions through critical thinking to optimize sustainable goals. You are supposed to obtain the skills of critical analysis and also a problem solving skills. You should practice all this, whatever the content given in this book. If your practice remains, you are supposed to get the skills to solve the problems. And if you should be in a position to watch any problem from its 360 degrees. So 180 degrees is half. 360 degrees means if a problem arises to a particular company, means we are in a position should solve the problem in all angles. We have to understand the solution for that particular problem and apply the solution in order to survive or in order to save the company. Next, develop the solutions through critical thinking to optimize sustainable goals. Number 3 point, develop on understanding of strategic, financial, cost and risk enabled performance management in a dynamic business environment. So students are supposed to develop strategic, financial, cost and risk enabled performance management in a dynamic business environment. A. Study the impacts of dynamic business environment on existing business strategies. Learn to adapt and innovate financial, cost and operating strategies to cope up with the dynamic business environment. Come up with the strategies and tactics that create sustainable competitive advantages. So students should learn to adapt and innovate the financial, cost and operating strategies to cope up with the dynamic business environment. You should be involved, you should be measured with the business environment, and you are supposed to give the solutions to the businesses, and you should have the skills of cost and operating strategies, and also adapt and innovate financial solutions to the business environment. Number point 4, learn to design the optimal approach for management of legal, institutional, regulatory, and ESG frameworks, stakeholders, dynamics, monitoring, control, and reporting with application oriented knowledge. So, students, what are the lines I am studying? One student, after completely learning this entire last subject, you are supposed to have all these skills, because one student who have all these skills, they will play the vital role in the performance of a company. Develop an understanding of the legal, institutional, and regulatory and ESG frameworks within which the firm operates. Learn to articulate optimal responses to the changes in the above framework. Appreciate the stakeholders' dynamics and expectations, and develop appropriate reporting mechanisms to address their concerns. Number 5, prepare to adapt an integrated cross-functional approach for decision management and execution with cost leadership, optimized value creations and deliveries. Number A, acquire knowledge of cross-functional tools for decision management. Take an industry-specific approach towards cost optimization and control to achieve sustainable cost leadership. Attain exclusive knowledge of data science and engineering to analyze the create value. So outside we are seeing lot of technological changes, and lot of things are newly coming every day, day to day. If from when we compare to the companies grow way of growth in from past 5 years to this year, means it is growing in different ways. So one who is coming out to coming from student stage to professional stage, he should have all the skills in order to survive in the corporate world. That's what they are saying in this way. Every student should possess this analytical skills, every student must possess the strategic skills, every student must adapt to the new technologies, and he should be in a position to deliver the good methodologies or suggestions for the companies in order to make them survive and win the profits for that company. Next, subject learning objectives, SLOBs. What are the main objectives of this subject? One, students who are preparing for corporate and economic class, what is the main objective? What they are supposed to learn from this subject? They are corporate class. From corporate class, a student is expected to learn this. First point, to develop a clear understanding of rational behavior behind various provisions, particularly on accounts, audit, dividends, and its effect on the company. Students are subjected to gain the knowledge of accounts, audit, and dividends, and its effects on the company. What are the effects of this accounts, audit, and dividends on the company? Student is supposed to learn that. To obtain in depth knowledge, number point two, to obtain in-depth knowledge of various provisions of the Companies Act and rules that govern the operations of a company. Depth knowledge of various provisions of Companies Act. We study the Companies Act section A. In it, we will study more number of provisions, and we should learn how this knowledge, okay, how this knowledge is used to survive the company, and also how this knowledge can be used to govern the operations of the company. Operations are nothing but the day-to-day activities of the company. Point number three, to have a fair idea about insolvency procedures to be undergone by a company. So insolvency procedures means a company, if a company is successful, it will be fine. If a company is facing any worst situations, in that situations, companies are going to insolvent. They are going to close that company. So the closing of a company is called as insolvency of a company. So every student who learning this subject must understand the insolvency procedures. What are the, when a company is about to insolvent, then what is the procedure? That procedure should be understood by the student. Point number four, to have a detailed understanding of the concepts of corporate governance, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and regulations associated with them. So corporate social responsibility means is to companies which are gaining more amounts of profits, more amounts of companies which have more amounts of net worth, they are supposed to contribute some amount of profit to the society for the development of society. So students should also must be eligible to know, or supposed to know all these knowledge things also they are saying. And number B, economic laws and regulations. So in economics, when you completely study part B, economic laws and regulations, the students are supposed to gain the following knowledge. First one, to have an overview of important SEBI regulations relating to fund mobilization through capital market trading in securities market and takeover of target companies. Number two, to acquire operation oriented knowledge of laws regulating the competitive landscape of business in India. Number three, to develop detailed and application oriented knowledge of provisions relating to management of foreign exchange. Number four, to obtain an outline of multiple specialized laws and regulations governing banking and insurance sectors in India. Number five, to obtain an application-oriented knowledge of special provisions relating to MSME sector. Number six, to understand the role of cyber laws in ensuring data security and privacy issues. Number seven, to obtain an overview of the laws and regulations associated with the prevention of money laundering in India. So, student, when completed the part B, economic laws and regulations, he is supposed to gain the knowledge in these areas. Okay. Subject learning outcomes and application skills. So after learning, what is the institute expecting, or the companies, where if a student is passed from a CMA, or the company expects the following application skills. So if you learn the company law, you are supposed to gain the following application skills. What are they? Number one, students will be able to guide the management by providing reference to appropriate provisions of Companies Act while making various operational financial decisions. When the companies are making various operational financial decisions, so when you become a professional, you are supposed to give the directions to the companies. Number two, students will be able to identify the documents to be prepared and submitted to appropriate authorities to ensure the compliance. So whenever the companies are preparing some documents, so then students will be able to identify the documents. You will be able to identify the documents to be prepared and submitted to appropriate authorities, to which authorities this particular documents should be submitted, to how these documents are prepared. All this knowledge will be gained by you. Number three, they will be able to guide the management in improving the standard of corporate governance and the corporate social responsibility, and help them to avoid penal provisions due to non-compliances. So student will gain the, so I have said that corporate social responsibility. So how to student will gain the knowledge, what is about the CSR program, which companies are eligible for CSR program, which companies should follow the CSR program. So if any companies violates the rules and regulations given in the CSR program, they have to face some penal provisions. These law students, whoever completed their law, they are get the knowledge of keeping the company away from getting the penal provisions. That's it. Number four, students will equip themselves to deal with the insolvency cases of customers and business associates. So so many companies we can see, so many companies will be started and so many companies will be closed because of these financial conditions are unable to meet the financial targets. So those companies will be closed. In that time, an insolvency associate will be appointed. In that role may be given for the CMS only. So if you study all this subject after completion of this law, you will gain the knowledge what is an insolvency associate will do, what is the rules and regulations he will perform, what are the duties of him. You will gain the knowledge related to that also. APS. So one, APS one, students will develop appropriate skill to prepare documents to be submitted to various regulators in order to achieve compliance. Number two, they will be skilled to draft paralegal documents with accuracy and fairness. Students also gain the knowledge how to prepare the documents to submit to different authorities that were held in the central government or state government for following the regulatory compliance by the newly established companies. B. Economic laws and regulations. After studying the economic laws and regulations, students will gain the knowledge, this practical knowledge, what are they are. So number one, students will be able to assist the management by providing the reference to appropriate provisions of general economic laws and regulations while making various operational and financial decisions. So students will be able to assist the management. They will give the directions to the management by providing reference to appropriate provisions of general economic laws and regulations while making various operational and financial decisions. When companies are making some operations or financial decisions, whatever you learned like economic laws and regulations, by taking reference from them, you will give directly some suggestions to the companies for their survival. Number two, they will be able to guide the management of entities belonging to specialized sectors by providing appropriate reference to sector specific legal guidelines and thus improve the compliance. And number three, they will be able to identify the possible threat to data security and privacy and guide the management to make appropriate legal measure to curb the same. So students will gain the knowledge how to protect the data of the company, how to use the data of the company, how to gain the data outside of the company environment for the growth of the company. All these things will be learned by you. Number one, APS. Students will develop appropriate skills to assist management in ensuring legally sustainable operations, ensure compliance with the legal and regulatory provisions, prepare documents and reports to be submitted to various regulators in order to achieve compliance. Okay. And module wise mapping. So here module number one, topics and subtopics, additional resources, research articles, case studies, blogs, SL will be mapped. So here the companies they given the source from the where all this information is taken and give presented in this book. If you have any more interest or if you have great enthusiasm to know more about this acts means, you can go to this following, what is this place, this website, and you will gain more information related to that particular act. So if you go via that, you will gain this knowledge. That's what they are saying. And coming to contents, earlier we studied that earlier, I mean in this video only, that we came to know that corporate laws hold 60% of the weightage. In that mainly for three modules it contains the 60%. The subtopics are this. So what I will do is I just read out the lines for your reference, and in coming after this video, after this introduction video, I will start the first chapter. So in this video I'm just reading out the lines. The Companies Act contains the following subtopics: 1.1 Company formation and conversion, 1.2 investment and loans, 1.3 dividends, 1.4 accounts and audit, 1.5 board of directors and key managerial personnel, 1.6 board meetings and presses, 1.7 inspection, inquiry and investigation, 1.8 compromises, arrangements and amalgamations, 1.9 prevention of oppression and mismanagement. Module 2 Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, 2.1 Definitions, 2.2 Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process, 2.3 Liquidation of Corporate Person, 2.4 Personal Insolvency. Module 3 Corporate Governance, Social Responsibility and Sustainability, 3.1 Corporate Governance Concepts and Issues, 3.2 Corporate Governance Practices or Codes in India, 3.3 Corporate Governance in Family Business, 3.4 Corporate Social Responsibility, Nature of Activities, Evolution of CSR Projects, 3.5 Sustainability Management, and section B, economic laws and regulations. So coming to section B, economic laws and regulations, so it covers the following topics. Module 4, SEBI laws and regulations. 4.1, rising finance from capital markets, IPO. 4.2, insider trading. 4.3, takeover code. Module 5, the Competition Act 2002, which is very interesting. 5.1, competition, meaning, objectives, extent and applicability. 5.2, Competition Commission of India, Module 6, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, 6.1, Salary and Futures of Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, 6.2, Foreign Direct Investment in India, FDI, Master Directions on FDI, 6.3, External Commercial Borrowings, Trade Credit and Structured Obligations, Master Directions, 6.4, Liberalized Remittances Scheme, LRS, Master Directions, Module 7, Laws and Regulations related to Banking Sector, 7.1, Banking Regulation Act 1949, 7.2, Role of Reserve Bank of India, interesting, 7.3, the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement Security Interest Act 2002, Module 8, Laws and Regulations related to Insurance Sector, 8.1, the Insurance Act 1938, 8.2, the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Act 1999, Module 9, specific legal provisions related to MSME sector, 9.1, definition of MSME, 9.2, rights available to MSME, measures for promotion of MSME under MSMED Act 2006, Module 10, laws and regulations related to cyber security and data privacy, 10.1, Information Technology Act 2000 and rules framework therein sensitive personal data rules, 10.2, basic principles of data privacy and business intelligence, 10.3, cybercrime, cyber frauds, meaning, remedies and penalties, module 11, laws and regulations related to anti-money laundering, 11.1, the prevention of money laundering act, 11.2, the prevention of money laundering, maintenance of records rules 2005. So this is it about section B, my dear students. So these are the contents that are provided covered under section B and section A. So in the next class, I'm going to give my first lecture on section A, corporate laws. So where I'm going to explain, read it line by line and give the explanation related to that line. So I am also going to give the practical live examples. So whatever given in the book, those will be compared with the practical live examples outside, what is happening in the market. So what is the real situation in the market? So how we are going to use what we learn in the book in the outside market. Coming classes are going to be very interesting, and these classes, these particular classes are making in English language, on keeping in mind that entire India, covering north and south, all the students. And I'm going to give the local language classes, that is Telugu language, the next subject in group 4, that is CMA. I'm going to upload that video also in Telugu language. So based on the reach of the subject, I'm going to give the coaching for the next subjects based on that. Okay, thank you, and subscribe this channel and share these videos to your friends who are preparing for the CMA exams. Thank you. We'll meet in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.